Hey there, it's me Eden. Welcome to Crossdressing Adventure Stories. Today I'm going to share with you crossdressing adventure story called Wife Feminized Ungrateful Husband, Part 3. So, if you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing and be a part of our inclusive community. It hadn't gone unnoticed that she had been playing with his chest a lot lately, cupping his pectorals in her hands, and he rather liked the sensations he was getting from it, especially when they were standing up or he was bending over her in bed and there seemed to be more there to play with. He'd been used to seeing rather firm muscle there, but now it more resembled, well, Karen's bosom. In fact, when he bent over her in bed, they seemed to just hang there, pendulous, like the teats of a cow, waiting to be milked. Karen, never being one to pass up an opportunity, playfully nursed on his new fat deposits. And when he was laying on his side in bed, on his tummy was too painful, his pectorals just lay there one on top of the other, distended. It didn't go unnoticed either that he almost filled up her camisoles now, and his nipples were always hard and showed through all his clothing if he didn't wear a jacket. But they were so hard underneath the soft pink too, and so sensitive, and at now only 137 pounds, he didn't think there was that much muscle on his chest. Maybe it's not muscle. Come to think of it, he was looking a little soft and the chest was only part of it. His skin and his face seemed finer, less angular. He looked younger. Hell, admit it, Joe, you're beginning to look like a damn girl and you don't even mind wearing lipstick. Why not try some blusher and eyeshadow too? And you haven't had a haircut in 3 months. He also wondered where the 2 or 3 hairs that had been growing there on his chest had gone. He rather liked his body hair, what there was of it, and that seemed to be somehow disappearing while his pubic hair was retreating down his tummy to a triangle like Karen's. In fact, it looked like he was getting a little tummy like Karen's too. He'd never been round there before, always flat. And, on the other hand, the hair on his head was growing thicker and faster. Now, how could a tranquilizer do that, he thought, and decided to see if he could make some connection. Anyway, the camisole did help cut down on the irritation, so he decided to keep wearing one, just to cut down on the irritation, of course. Face it, Joe. You like this feminine stuff. It feels good. So now he was wearing panties and a camisole to work and a slinky nightgown to bed. He decided that wearing a camisole the same color as his colored TS would be a good idea, and Karen got him a few in colors, all very lacy and sexy, of course, and with a little room to grow into. He could have gotten nylon t-shirts, he reasoned, but why bother? More savings. Joe loved saving money. He also was loving his pretty undergarments. Saturday morning, he got up and looked at that image again and said to Karen, "You know, I've lost 8 pounds and yet my chest and my butt seem to be a little bigger than they were. In fact," he said, "I think my chest is beginning to sag a little." Karen agreed that he looked like he has put on a little weight even though the scale said differently. Karen suggested that she take some measurements, just to make sure, and went for her dressmaker's tape and beginning with his thighs, worked her way up to his waist, 22-inch thigh, 36 hips, 30 inseam and 28-inch waist. 28-inch waist and 36-inch hips? Karen, how can that be? That machine isn't that good. 3 months ago I had a 32 waist. I had expected to get rippling abs from that thing, and all I see so far is a 4-inch waist reduction and deep pockets on either side of a smooth set of abs, like I have a layer of fat over everything. I don't mind losing a little flab from my middle though, but it's like I've got a little layer of fat that won't let my definition show," he said. "And I know that my hips were only 34 inches a couple months ago. It looks like those 4 inches went from my waist to my butt and chest." "There, Joe, you've almost finally said it, bosom is the word." "Well, Joe, you seem to be getting more out of it than I am, and a real cute butt, too, I might add."
"Yeah.
"And I can barely get my jeans up over this butt, and now the waist is too big on everything I own, and so are all my belts, and my shirts are getting tight. I even look like I may outgrow my new camisoles in a couple of months if I continue to get flabby." "Your flab is looking really cute on you, Joey," she said. "You like playing with it, don't you, Karen?" "Sure, why not? You play with mine." "Fair's fair." "Terrific. Talk about spending money. I tell you honestly, Karen, when I look in that mirror with this gown and heels on," and his voice trailed off. She replied, "Well, you wanted some body changes or you wouldn't have started the exercises, right?" He thought to himself, "I look like I'm getting pretty soft in spite of all our exercises. Wonder why?" Might come under the heading of watch out for what you wish for.
"Yeah.
But I was thinking more Arnold and end up more like Christy Brinkley, especially with some lipstick." "Of course, I always did think she was a fox. I'm beginning to look more like Karen, in fact. I bet I could even look pretty good in her bikini, and those high-heeled sandals are becoming pretty appealing too." "Geez, Joe, where's your head going, anyway? Do you think you might really like looking like a girl?" "Nah, that's not possible, is it? You like the gown and the heels, don't you?" "Yes, and a little too much." "Well." Karen interrupted his thoughts with a sale on jeans down at the mall and promised to get him a couple pairs that fit. She took the measurements and put them in her purse. She went to Walmart the next day. Just on a whim, she went to the shoe department and picked up a pair of white, high-heeled patina pumps that were a half size large for her. She looked all over the men's jeans and couldn't find a thing that lived up to Joe's new dimensions, but she managed to come up with 2 pairs of jeans on sale and brought them home for him to try on. She put them down on the bed and he climbed out of his ill-fitting ones and tried on a pair. They fit him almost like a second skin, but if he got any bigger, he was going to fill them to capacity and need the next size up, and there isn't much room in the crotch even though he had learned how to condense his equipment. The waist was just right though and accentuated his blossoming figure. "Honey, those jeans really show off that cute tush of yours. I'm impressed." Thanks." He was used to seeing a little bulge there, but with these jeans and Karen's nylon spandex panties, he could barely see it. He reasoned as how he really didn't miss the bulge that much. Karen had told him how cute his bottom looked in them, and he accepted the compliment. "What size are these, anyway?" he asked. 10, she replied. 10 regular." "What do you mean 10? That's not a men's size, is it?" "No, honey, but with your new dimensions, they were the only ones that measured right." "They really look good?" "Yes, Joey. But one says Britannia and the other says chic on the label." "These are girls." I'll cut it off, okay? Oh, all right. But holy cow, I'm wearing a camisole because my nipples are tender and seem to be growing, and now I'm into women's jeans and panties and a sexy nightgown complete with heels and lipstick. What next? Hose and heels and a dress to work. Ignoring the comment, she replied, "Oh, and by the way, Joey, I got you a couple boxes of these cute satin high-rise briefs. I'm tired of having to do double duty washing on my own. I hope you don't mind." My God, Karen, they have an inch of stretchy lace at all the openings. Well, you've been wearing my pretty stretch lace ones, she countered. They were the nicest ones in the store and usually $6 a pair. I thought you'd be grateful, and she began to tear up a little. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. I know you are only trying to make me feel more comfortable, and I guess there's no denying I really like the feeling. Here, let me try on a pair for you. He tried on a pair and did a little parrot for her, a move neither of them expected. They were a size 6 and squished his pubic area pretty good, and while it wasn't like looking at Karen in a pair, he tucked himself in a little more and admired the smooth front of his crotch. He sure didn't care for the pressure it put between his legs though, and for a moment wondered if there was a way he could make the jewels disappear. Very cute tush, Joey, she commented. You could tighten up those buns some more doing one of my exercises. How about working it in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sure. For a second, he found himself in a fantasy about how he'd look with the right equipment in that underwear. Geez. Now I'm fantasizing about having a vagina. You are one sick puppy, Joey. I like them, he said. How do they feel? Karen asked. Not quite as silky as Victoria's, but still very nice, he replied. Then you're not mad at me? No. You know, Joey, you and I haven't had crosswords in several months now. Yes, I noticed that too, and I really love the way we have been getting along. I hate being so uptight with you all the time. Those tranquilizers seem to be working really well. Karen just giggled. Yes, they were working very well, she thought. What's in this other box? He asked. Oh, just a pair of pumps they had on sale, but I think they are a little big on me. Want to try them?
Yeah.
I guess so. Karen, these have a 3-inch heel too. Well, they do look nice with your PJs or the gown, and they fit too, don't they? As a matter of fact, they do. Perfectly. Is this a gift? If you want them. Thanks. Now would you like to explain why I'm getting the hots from wearing sexy women's clothes? I don't know, honey, maybe it has something to do with the cute changes in your body. He sat down at her vanity and looked at his reflection with the now larger bumps in the bodice of the gown and his long hair framing his softening face. He applied some lipstick and blusher and just a hint of shadow. Not bad. Karen noticed, came over and said, you know, you could look even better in these. His mind shot back to his question about how he might look after all the stuff Karen did to herself. Here, she said, and drew his hair up into a ponytail with a scrunchie, and before he had a chance to say anything, reached into the drawer and pulled an old pair of clip earrings and clipped them on his ears, spun him around and deftly applied some rose lip gloss over the lipstick. He did look different. Not so much Joe anymore. Maybe Jolene, but not Joe. He looked in the mirror, took the earrings off, left his hair up and came to bed. When he kissed Karen goodnight, their red, moist lips met and Joey saw little sparks. It felt good, but he felt so feminine as Karen proceeded to feel him up. The next morning, they got up and neither wanted to get up and dressed. They went down to the kitchen in their nightwear and slippers. There sat Joe on the couch reading the paper with his satin panties and PJs and high-heeled slippers on curled up in the recliner. Funny, he didn't really think about it. He just went down that way. And the curling up in the chair. That was new too. That's all for now, see you in the next video. Please share your valuable opinion in the comment.